Reinforce the southern flank immediately.
This is where we will intercept them.
The terrain is in our favor, my queen.
They will not pass.
Onde estamos?
For generations, history has celebrated the victories won on great battlefields. But some of the greatest victories begin with a single decision. Queen Nzinga had made hers. She would not surrender, not to fear, not to betrayal, and certainly not to an empire.
The lines are drawn.
The years ahead would become the most difficult of her life. The Portuguese believed time was on their side. They controlled important coastal settlements. They possessed firearms. They received reinforcements from across the Atlantic, and they expected every African kingdom to eventually accept their authority.
The terms are final. Your signature ensures peace.
Many rulers had already signed unequal agreements. Others had been defeated. Some kingdoms disappeared entirely. The Portuguese believed Ndongo would soon become another chapter in that story. They were wrong.
We will not be broken! Together, we will stand and fight for our home. This land is our legacy.
Because Queen Nzinga understood something that many invading powers failed to recognize. A nation is not defeated simply because it loses territory. A nation is defeated only when its people lose hope. And Nzinga refused to allow hope to die. Instead of waiting behind palace walls, she reorganized her kingdom. Villages strengthened their defenses. Messengers traveled constantly between communities. Food stores were protected. Weapons were produced. Young warriors trained every day. Experienced commanders prepared new strategies. This was no longer simply an army. It was becoming a nation prepared for survival. Nzinga also understood that battles are fought with information. Every movement of Portuguese soldiers was observed. Scouts disappeared into forests for weeks. Merchants carried news between distant settlements. Allies reported enemy movements. Nothing was considered too small to matter. Every detail became intelligence. Every report became preparation. While Portuguese commanders believed they controlled the situation, Nzinga often knew where they were, before they knew where she was.
Get down! Now, strike them! Fall back to the wagons!
It frustrated them. Again and again, their plans failed. Supply lines disappeared, convoys were ambushed, communication broke down. The deeper Portuguese forces entered unfamiliar territory, the more vulnerable they became. The forests, the rivers, the hills, even the seasons became allies of Queen Nzinga. She refused to fight on terms chosen by the enemy. If the battlefield favored Portugal, she withdrew. If the forest favored her warriors, she attacked. If negotiations created an advantage, she negotiated. If war became necessary, she fought. She was never controlled by pride, only by purpose.
In 1641, Queen Nzinga prepared a deadly trap. She was a master of guerrilla tactics. Silent, we will draw them into the interior. Here, our terrain is our greatest ally. They cannot conquer what they do not know.
Many rulers seek glorious victories. Nzinga sought lasting survival. That difference changed history. As resistance continued, her reputation spread far beyond Ndongo. Travelers carried stories across Central Africa. Merchants repeated tales in distant markets. Foreign diplomats heard reports of an African queen.
Queen Nzinga has defeated them again at Ngolela.
This map leads directly to the Great River.
Who refused to accept defeat. Some stories grew larger with every retelling. Others mixed fact with legend. People spoke of her courage, her intelligence, her discipline, her ability to disappear before an enemy attack and appear where she was least expected. She became a symbol. To her enemies, she became a problem without an obvious solution. Years passed, wars continued, yet Queen Nzinga remained. Every campaign taught new lessons. Every setback produced new strategies. Every challenge strengthened her resolve. She understood that resistance was not measured by one battle. It was measured by endurance. Empires often expect quick victories. They rarely prepare for decades of determined opposition. Nzinga gave them exactly that. Even when resources became scarce, she refused to abandon her people. Even when allies disappeared, she continued searching for new ones. Even when defeat seemed possible, she planned for tomorrow. That ability, to think beyond immediate hardship, became one of her greatest strengths. Leadership had transformed her. The young girl who quietly observed royal meetings had become one of Africa's most respected rulers. The diplomat had become a military strategist. The princess had become a queen. The queen had become a legend. But her greatest challenge was still approaching, because the struggle between Queen Nzinga and the Portuguese Empire was entering a new phase, one that would test not only her army, but her legacy, one that would determine whether history would remember her as merely another ruler, or as one of Africa's greatest defenders. The battle for her kingdom continued, but now the battle for history had begun, to be continued.